Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I work with an interdimensional, interuniversal, and extraterrestrial force known as Telstar, along with Archangel Michael. Now, I think it's pretty obvious that the controllers of this planet are completely out of control. And right now, we are standing at a crossroads. Things are currently a bit shaky for the controllers' plans, and we need to take advantage of this opportunity to get even more positive leverage in our situation. We can focus on two important things. One is to focus on being actively involved with our evolution as natural human beings. And the second thing is to recognize that the strength of our great awakening lies in the fact that we can see these controllers now. We are able to see much more clearly what they're up to. And the more that we understand how they manipulate us, the less and less power they will have. Now, the most important thing to understand about the controllers of this planet is that they must stop us from evolving at all costs. That's because when we evolve, they risk us rediscovering who we really are, along with finding out who they are as well. So in spite of all their manufactured crises and their manipulative control, we need to always remember that their worst nightmare would be for us to wake up completely and enter an accelerated path of conscious evolution. Now, one of the things that the controllers like to do is to set all kinds of mind traps for us to fall into. They want our thinking to be consumed in such a way that we end up stuck, confused, and complacent. See, evolution is fundamentally a spiritual matter that requires new thought and expanded consciousness. It requires us to learn to think and discern for ourselves. It requires us to be intentional in our thoughts, in our actions, and in our direction in life. It basically requires us to be consciously active in the process. So one of the mandates of the controllers is to prevent us from doing that. They have had to find ways for thousands of years to stop us from being active participants in our own evolution. For example, why do you think they don't teach about money in school? Why don't they teach about something that is so vitally important in everyone's life? Because if they did, we might learn to interact with money in a positive way that allows us to expand and prosper and be much more free to create. And they certainly don't want that. So instead, they teach us just one basic thing about money. You need to do what we say and obey so you can get a job and then get a paycheck. And that's pretty much it. They need to keep us ignorant so they can manipulate the entire system in their favor and keep us shackled in survival as their corporate slaves. That's how they prevent us from being fully active in our evolution on a physical level. It's how they keep us totally preoccupied with survival and paying bills. It's how they keep our consciousness completely consumed with worry and survival. It's really how they prevent us from being overly creative in our lives. And make no mistake, these controllers are the sole reason for the impoverished countries on this planet. And then they also have their religious money propaganda, which is so obvious and transparent that it's amazing that humans have fallen for this for thousands of years. It goes like this. Anyone who makes money is inherently bad. Only bad people are rich or well off. Good people don't have much money. That's what makes them good. The less you have, the more poor you are, the better person you are. Guys, they did this so that they could retain all the power over the masses. So the elites and those in charge could have all the money by convincing everyone else that it was bad to have money so the elites could stay in power. It's really just that simple. And you see where this has gotten us now? How many people are losing their livelihoods because the controllers have decided to shut it all down and create mass chaos? So most of the population is pretty much hands off when it comes to knowledge about money, except when they cash that weekly paycheck. And thus the controllers maintain their position in the driver's seat of this entire planet. So if you are of the belief that you should feel guilty if you have money, then I strongly suggest that you transmute that belief. Realize that you have been manipulated by the controllers to feel this way. It is not natural to feel that abundance is a bad thing. Now, I need to make you aware of another mind trap that the controllers have been setting in various forms for thousands of years. This is the trap of believing that someone else is going to save us. Now, we are in a period of enormous light entering our planet right now. This is the light of the Great Awakening. It's the light of ascension. This light is meant to support us in evolving to a place where we can ascend and stay on a higher timeline. But remember that evolution is an active, conscious process. It is by no means passive where you just sit around and wait for it to happen to you. The controllers know that if we get active and conscious in our own evolution, individually and collectively, then they're kind of done. They cannot compete with the larger evolving universe that we are meant to be a part of. They cannot compete with that massive cosmic ocean of light and love that is waiting for us to join it on its much larger ascension journey back into its original state of oneness. So the controller's goal is to keep us passive. Their goal is to make us believe that we don't have to do anything. Now, they can't just come out and openly say, hey people, you are not allowed to evolve or be active in your own evolution. So instead, they very cleverly find ways to manipulate us to come to that false conclusion on our own. Now, there are two ways in which they are trying to accomplish this. The first way is to introduce and feed us many stories about how religious avatars, ETs, white hats, and what have you are working behind the scenes to fix all of this. Now, I want to offer you a little experiment so you can test this out for yourself. Imagine if you truly believe that all of this good stuff is happening behind the scenes, and at any time now the bad guys will be vanquished and we will all be set free to embark on a new earth. Take that thought in for a moment in whatever way you may have heard it or believed it. Notice the effect that this belief has on your consciousness. Now, I have tried this little experiment for myself, and here's how it affects me. If I believe that there are secret forces who are fixing this whole mess behind the scenes, and that at any time now all will be revealed and humanity will rejoice in a beautiful new earth, if I believe all of that, here's what I notice I subsequently feel. I feel little motivation to change much in my life because it's all being handled by someone else and will soon be all over anyway. And besides, in the case that all of this is real, I would currently have no idea what to actually do because this new earth is going to be better than anything that I could do right now or even imagine right now. So in this case, it makes sense for me to just live day to day and wait for the final unveiling of mass arrests, of ETs landing openly, and of everything being sorted out for us by these mysterious secret forces. Now, in addition to feeling passive and believing that it makes sense to wait for these amazing events to occur, I would probably get a nice hit of dopamine every time I hear these reports and promises for salvation that would help to relieve my stress, which would make me even more inclined to believe them because I would want that dopamine hit in order to feel good again. So if you understand that, you can also understand how these types of messages can even act like a psychological drug. So they get us addicted to these feel-good stories that are very mesmerizing. And then we ourselves lose personal motivation. We become passive in our evolution because it makes sense to believe that the only thing to do is to wait until all is revealed. Now, I'm not trying to say that everything you hear is false. I'm just suggesting that you become exceedingly self-aware about how some of these stories are affecting your consciousness. If you find that they slow you down and make you feel passive, and if you find that you rely on that dopamine feel-good hit when you hear them, then you want to be very careful about what you are absorbing into your consciousness. Now, the second way that the controllers slow us down and make us passive is by insidiously combining things together that really don't belong together. For example, right now they're actively combining religion, politics, spirituality, ETs, ascension, money, space wars, secret Earth wars, technology, and other nuances into a giant ball of things that they claim will save us, but yet these things do not integrate at all. Now, the stories around this combination of things can get quite sophisticated and complex. But here's the problem. They all involve a combination of so-called outer solutions, and none of them address our actual need to evolve. I mean, we can get ourselves literally tied up in knots trying to figure all of this out and sort it all out. And once again, this is designed to shift our focus into a direction that causes us to passively wait around until all this stuff plays out. So it's really very simple. If what you're taking in is causing you to feel unmotivated in your own evolution, and you find yourself passively waiting for the big reveal that never comes, then I suggest you put such things on the back burner of your life. If these things are true, then let them show the results in a way that makes a visible difference. Otherwise, you risk chasing moving goalposts for an eternity. So instead of relying on things that we can't see, there are real practical things that we can do right now for ourselves, starting with playing an active role in our own evolution. We need to focus on our individual evolution because that is where we can increase our power. We need to learn to function at powerful metaphysical levels in addition to whatever physical levels are possible for us. We need to be able to match and exceed the controller's ability to understand what is really going on. Here's how I would summarize the advanced shift that we now have the opportunity to make. Recognize the incredible power that becomes available to us the more that we learn to see and recognize the controller's tricks and the ways they use to manipulate us. This is like getting the battle plans of the enemy. It puts us at a distinct advantage. Every time we uncover a new way that they are manipulating us, we pull another rug out from under their ability to control us. Remember this very important fact. These controllers have no power of their own. They only have power to the degree to which they can get away with lying and manipulating our consciousness. Each time that we uncover another one of their nefarious tricks, we sever another cord of bondage to them. This frees us to consciously engage in the second part of this advanced shift, which is to actively and consciously participate in our own evolution. It's to let go of waiting for someone else to fix it and fully step into our natural power and presence ourselves. Now, I feel that we are at a turning point that can definitely work to our advantage. I think that we are now ready to wake up fully and step into our power at a much higher level than ever before. We can discover the immense freedom and joy that comes with freeing ourselves from their bondage and being sovereign again. In which case, these nefarious controllers will lose their ability to hold on to us, and we can leave them in the dust of their sad, shattered plans. So I hope you found this video to be thought-provoking and that it gave you a lot of new things to consider. And if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it out with anyone else who you think would find this information helpful. And be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because I am here every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday with all new videos. And with that, I'm sending you so much love, light, and high vibrational energy, and I so look forward to seeing you in the next video. Namaste.